Hey, what's up? My name is Cujo. It's like 10 p.m. at night right now. I just got done mixing a song for like 4 hours and my ears are super fatigued right now. So I'm gonna, instead of absolutely abolishing my ears, I'm gonna just start talking now to a microphone. I was doing my laundry at the laundromat earlier today. I was reading a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and there's a section in there, I think, there it is. It's a section called Enchantment, where she kind of talks about ideas being separate from people, and people normally get attached to an idea and ownership of an idea. It's like the ego in a way. But if you really look at ideas, ideas are their own thing and separate from the people who are almost like a vessel for the ideas. I think a lot of the time, like even in like science, you'll see the discovery of a disease or something like that. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but they'll name like a disease after a person that discovers the disease, or they'll call a specific person a genius for doing a certain type of style in like fashion or music or entertainment. And the argument she makes in the book is that ideas are their own separate entity, almost like another separate person, if you want to say that. Like, we have animals, we have people, which you can argue are animals, and then we have ideas, and we're almost co-creators with the ideas. The idea is a vessel through us, but we shouldn't have any attachment to the idea. The idea itself wants to be executed. There's a specific part where she talks about an idea she had for a book that she was working on that she ended up having to put on the back burner for like 2 years, and then tried to revisit it and wasn't able to. She didn't have the same spark that she had initially when she was first making the book. And then a close writer friend that she had ended up coming up with the same idea, and she talks about how the idea like made her way to her friend. And I don't know if I believe that necessarily, like if the idea actually like moved on. Kind of weird to me. But if you're not going to execute the idea, there's going to be somebody else that executes the idea, because the argument is the idea is just waiting to be made. And when it comes to you, it's trying to work with you in order to come out. I have multiple ideas for videos or like music and stuff that I don't execute on, that I'm sure other people make in a different format or a better format or a worse format. But my point is like the idea is going to get made regardless if you work on it or not. And regardless of circumstances or the end result of it, what matters is that it gets executed, or you move on to the next idea and just let somebody else do it. She even talks about how it's kind of a relief that other people will make the idea that you had, just so you rest a bit easier knowing like it's out there, which is a really like detaching thing to do. But if you look at humanity, like we're all in this together, so if an idea gets executed by another person, then it's kind of a win-win, because we're all in a society surviving together. And I feel like my throat has the sore thing right now too. I might be getting sick, dude. I hope not. Ugh. Sometimes there'll be ideas that really catch your interest, and they almost take control of you. Like you obsess over the idea. And at least when it comes to music, I'll just like stream through an idea. When I made the Joy of Finding video, that's almost kind of what happened. Was like I wrote the script for it, and I actually sat on it for a while, but I reread the script and was like, yeah, let's make a green screen video out of that. And I like turned it out in like a month. It's hard to make stuff like that because you have to keep revisiting the project, but it's almost like you get ideas while you're making the project, and then it's like one kind of like big collection of like these micro ideas, which I think ultimately like people don't act on their ideas. And when you don't act on an idea, you're just telling the idea like, nah, I'm not gonna work on you. Are you gonna be able to work on every single idea you have? No. Before even like writing this, I probably had like 10 or 11 ideas for stuff come to me today, which is where this kind of comes from, is all those ideas. I was like, I'm just gonna make something that talks about ideas. So I basically just said no to all of those. So don't let your ego get attached to ideas. Just execute ones you want to see come to fruition. Enjoy the process of realizing those ideas. And it's almost like spiritual, I guess. For me, the process of making stuff is like the funnest part. Like sitting here talking to this mic right now, for me is actually fun as hell. And I think that like that's something you should be doing too. You should be doing whatever brings you the most joy in making, and then maybe other people will like it, maybe other people won't, but it doesn't matter, because you enjoyed making the thing and realizing the ideas that you had, regardless if it's good or not. I think there's a song called Free the Frail by JPEG Mafia. He pretty much talks about actually just making the music and then putting it out there, and if it's good, then it's good, and if it's not good, it's not good. It's not up to you when you make something how it's going to be received out in the world, if people are really going to like it or if they're going to dislike it. And ultimately, you should just be caught up in the process and then keep churning the stuff out and then let the people decide if it's good or if it's not, and not really take it personally. Maybe learn from it if you like, or just not take whatever people have to say and just keep moving on. But yeah, you should actualize ideas that really captivate you. And people, like, they get so caught up in, like, what's the best idea that I could actualize, the one that's gonna put me on the map. I'm gonna be the best musician or the best, I don't know, podcaster or actor, when really, like, you should just go whatever captivates you the most and just pay attention to how you're feeling. Like, there's been this song I've been working on over the past couple days where I had this idea, and it's not like the best idea per se. Like, it's not the most gonna bring me the most quote-unquote success, because it's technically already been done before, but I'm trying to do something slightly different with it, and I like the idea so much that it's like taken all my attention over other stuff that could probably be more unique or more original than the one I'm working on. But it's what captivates me the most, and that's the one I'm having the most fun making, so that's what I'm chasing. Sure, I think you should make things that are captivating for other people, but at the same time, like, you're a person that also consumes things too, so, you know, pay attention to the things that you consume and that you like, because you're an audience, and I don't think people get that. Ideas are like a shared thing. Like, there's gonna be other people that like the stuff you make out there. There's gonna be people who don't like the stuff you make, and that's always going to be true with everything. My goal with making this type of stuff is I at least want to help one person out there, and if that person ends up just having to be just me, then I'm completely okay with that. I think it's really cool doing stuff like this because I can revisit it in the future and kind of see where my brain was at, what I was thinking of at the time, almost like a photo in time, but in an audio way with a game I was playing at the time. That's the format we're doing anyway. And I've been liking that so far, so maybe I end up talking about this book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, a bit more as I keep reading it. I just finished reading I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, and that book was crazy. I really recommend that book if you enjoyed reading. There's a lot of themes of, like, success can be really, like, soul draining, because Jeanette McCurdy was the person who played Sam in iCarly, and she went through, like, a whole process, but my brain's pretty fresh off that since I finished the book, you know, and you'll get inspiration and ideas just from that type of stuff. Like, that inspired me to, like, come up with a few more prompts for videos like this, or put me on ideas of, like, oh, I should implement this in my life, I should avoid these certain things to do with, like, my kids when I have them, or, yeah, maybe I should make a whole video just talking about that book, too, just because it is actually crazy what Jeanette was put through. Maybe I will do something like that. Boom, another idea for you, boy. But yeah, just make stuff with no attachment. Just go with stuff that you like. Make stuff for you, and then put it out there. If people don't like it, they can go, I don't know, do some, like, spiritual, like, self-learning or something. I'm not sure what they need to do. Probably something like that, honestly. But yeah, as long as you're acting with your ideas, that's kind of like the sub point of this too. As long as you're acting on ideas, you're realizing them into the physical reality, which you can argue that ideas are a part of, like, the spiritual, mental blob of introspection. Is that what I'm looking for? Like the inner world. But we do live in a physical world too, and we should be bringing those ideas into reality, because the outside world and the inside world is kind of a back and forth, but the inside world is a reflection of the outside world, and vice versa. So as long as you're acting on ideas, you're learning. You're learning the type of stuff you want to make, or the type of ideas you want to realize, I mean. And long after we're dead, there's going to be people after us who realize the same ideas or altercations of the same ideas. But your idea is going to be unique to you as well, because you're one individual that was never going to be recreated. You're like one speck, but you're the most unique speck out of everything else. Every single person is different from the other. So It's always going to be your version of this idea, and yada yada. And if people copy from you, they're going to be doing their own version of the same idea. So really just make stuff and don't worry, is what I'm trying to say. In a really long-winded way. But yeah, I've been making videos every Saturday. I think that's all that I have for this one. So I will catch you guys later, and goodbye now.